My name is Orlando Farrell. I'm the Executive Director for Quinte Immigration Services in Belleville, Ontario, Canada. Our organizations have been providing assistance for newcomers since 1986. I started with the organization in 2002, and it's very small in terms of staff organization, but I believe we have achieved quite a lot in terms of transformational changes in our region. Belleville itself has a population of close to 35 to 40,000, a little bit of a floating population. In the summer, we have an increasing number of tourists who stays here because of the Prince Edward County, which is also part of the Quinte region. We have a park there that attracts a lot of tourists, and Sandbanks is one of the main attractions. Infrastructure for hotels is not big yet there, but also they have the attractions of the wineries. Lots of wineries, is wine country. North of us, we have vast amounts of agricultural land on Hastings County. And 2 hours from here, we have the municipality or city of Bancroft. That's cottage country. A lot of people goes there, almost 40,000 people in the summertime. But then it dies out in the winter times and off season. So attraction and retention of newcomers have been one of the main factors for the whole region. Finally, the municipalities are getting a little bit conscious that they need immigrants here, so that labor shortages that have been identified recently can be resolved by having more people coming with the skills to fulfill those jobs. The Farmers Feed the World came about during the Syrian refugee crisis. At that point, we're going back to 2015. We thought that similar to a previous crisis that we were assisting from the Kosovo War, when we had 5,000 Kosovars, and together working with the Canadian Red Cross and the military base, we were able to assist 5,000 refugees in 6 months, which was a record. This was in 1999. This time again, we decided to make more of a preparation and make sure that it would be better organized. And we had several community forums to talk about this. Many stakeholders attended to that. There was a lot of passion. People really wanted to make sure that they would make a difference for the refugees and welcome them. There was a very heavy media presence that assisted us with putting those meetings together. The first meeting, we had close to 250 people, and they were all frontline workers from different sectors of services, from social services, legal services, health services. The community college was involved as well, language training services. And we also had invited an imam to talk about the cultural and historical factors from Syria. There was a lot of church groups as well that wanted to get involved, in services clubs as well. So then we had the second forum. It was great attendance. Everything was centralized in Belleville, although the third one actually happened in the municipality of Quinte West, which is not far from Belleville. Once this all was done, we started looking and talking to some of the sponsorship groups, and they had the majority of the profiles of the refugees that we would be receiving. What was noticed is that a lot of them had work in agriculture while in Syria, and they had those skills that were very needed from the local farmers. So the Farmers Feed the World idea came about that time. If we could find a way to introduce them to agriculture in Ontario and talk to the farmers and see if they would be hiring them, or even trying to show them the path for agriculture, that would be great. We didn't have funding at that point in time, and talking to different funders, there was not really much of a concentrated effort of funding the program because the money was going in different directions for the refugee crisis until we had the support for the Canadian Red Cross, and we partnered with them to create this pilot project. By 2016, the project was in place thanks to the information that we obtained from OMAFRA, which is the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture. And all this information was translated into Arabic, and we uploaded this and created a website and uploaded that. So we had 129 registered Syrian refugees. A majority of those Syrian refugees were staying in the GTA, in the Greater Toronto area, but they wanted to get out and maybe own a farm someday, but they wanted also to start working since one of the main concerns they had was the ending of the federal public funding that would be down the road would be over. They only had it for 1 year, and they wanted to start working before. The big feedback was the seasonality of the farming in Canada. We only have it for a short season. We have the planting season and the harvest season. For this project, there was an issue that year it coincided with Ramadan for the harvest season, so it was very tough for them to, not eating everything during the day and then have to do the harvest. That was challenge number one. There was a religious and cultural challenge number two, which is the wineries, which is most of the agricultural sections south of us. They would deal with harvesting the grapes, but they would not get involved in anything of production of wine because it would be against the religion. Apart from that, for the feedbacks from the farmers, it was very tough for them just to work a few months and then have nothing to do and not other jobs in the area, when most of the jobs in the region they were going was agriculture. So those were good, important information that came about from the program. Others, though, were very satisfied because they were trained in food processing, catering, and I think 67 families benefited from that. They were trained through the local health unity in terms of having a food handling certification for that. So there were good points and also not so good points, but at least gave us an idea of what could be better when a pilot project like that is thought about. Information is the main thing that to be provided for all stakeholders involved, and good information mostly can make a big difference and changes.